Hacksters, welcome to Friday. It's secretly Friday right now.
All right.
We have Bosko Kante from ElectroSpit. So what is this device you have here?
Well, it's the first mobile tubeless talkbox, and I'll let Bosko demonstrate.
Whoa, it sounds like this, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's a mobile talk box, and it's called the ElectroSpit ESX1, yeah.
So this is the ESX1?
Yes.
This is the ESX1, yeah.
So amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you. So Bosko built every single prototype by hand. Yeah, and he also built the software along with a couple of other more seasoned software developers. But
yeah, it's been definitely a journey, a fun journey in terms of learning how to build all kinds of things that I never expected to be able to build.
So for people who aren't familiar with traditional talkbox, there are people like Peter Frampton and Roger Troutman, and what people are used to seeing is this tube in people's mouths, and there's like 5 other pieces that connect to that. And so what we've done is taken all of those pieces and combined them into this one sleek mobile unit along that can be used with your app, or it can be used with a keyboard or electric guitar as well.
Ooh, how does it, do you have like a Bluetooth plug-in thing for that?
It's actually a wired connection. You know, I think, you know, in the future there may be a wireless version, but right now to get the best quality, it's important to use a wired connection, and also there's a latency issue, and there's
with the Bluetooth, there's a latency issue. So when you're trying to play notes and play along with somebody else, that can be a problem, obviously, if you're like out of time.
That's right.
Everybody else.
Right. Which is important because you performed live with Kanye West, right? For a Grammy thing that you did.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was like the inspiration, because with the you know, the traditional talk box, you have a keyboard, which is connected to an amp, which goes into a speaker, which is in a box, which comes through a tube, and the tube goes into your mouth.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys can see how much gross spit is collected in this thing over there. So we've eliminated that. So now it's shareable, because in the past nobody wanted to
taste. Yeah, nobody. I didn't even want to. I wouldn't want to use this right now. I haven't been using it lately. Obviously, because I've been using the ElectroSpit ESX1.
You're like light years ahead of that now.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah. So so Bosko has a 20 plus year or 20 year plus music industry career as a music producer, singer, songwriter, and as a talkbox artist. And he also happens to have a mechanical engineering degree from USC. So that, like we said earlier, the inspiration for this was a moment on stage with Kanye West at the American Music Awards, where he was performing a song that Bosko did the talkbox on, called Kanye's Workout Plan, and Bosko had to lip sync because the traditional setup of the talkbox is so cumbersome that it doesn't lend itself to live performances and so moving around. So you can imagine this, like, you know, one of the shining moments of your career, having to lip sync isn't your ideal situation. So that's where the idea was sparked for making it mobile and making the sound more accessible, because what people don't realize is that this sound is so popular. Some people, to the untrained ear, they might confuse it with something like auto-tune. Yeah. But it gives you a much richer sound because it's not limited to the range of the voice, because it replaces the voice. Right. It replaces the vocal cords.
So how high and how low can you go on that?
Let's see.
I have to ask.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Wow.
If you get any higher, there's gonna be a dog screaming somewhere.
Oh, you can only do like
right.
You can do like multi-tones with that as well, can you?
Yeah.
Yeah. You can do
like 2 and 3
chords and stuff like that.
Yeah. I'm gonna do that.
Let's see.
Essentially can be your own choir.
That's amazing. That is so cool. I could listen to that for hours. So maybe I will after this. Like,
that's right.
You've been on all these tracks with these amazing names and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, so recently just did a mixtape with Snoop Dogg has a DJ name that he goes under, Snoopadelic, and Bosko just did a mixtape with him and DJ Green Lantern, and it takes it takes a lot of the old like funk classics and puts this like new kind of modern Snoop Dogg twist on it, and so he did that, and he also did the Bruno Mars, David Guetta remix of Versace on the Floor using this. Yeah, and then
that's a great song.
Yeah, it is. And then there's one with Skrillex, Big Boy Outkast, and Fanagram, which is called Drum Machine, that features the ESX1. So it's been a really good tool for him to like do things more impromptu. And so that's the kind of spirit that we're imparting to people who want to be active participants in music creation, who haven't had the chance because they've been barred by, the learning curve, or with this particular instrument, just how to put it together or program in the sound is difficult. So we're kind of breaking down those barriers for people to just like be able to get in and get going on making
music.
Yeah.
We want to raise the floor, but not the ceiling. So you can. This is definitely a pro quality sound, as you can hear, by all of the records that we've been on with it. But you don't have to know how to play a keyboard. You can just jam without looking. And
it's compatible with other apps as well. I saw you're using Thumb Jam.
Yes, you can definitely use any synthesizer app, any sound source. And just to explain, because this is people often don't realize how it works. So the sound comes out of the sound source, which in this case is our app, but it could be a guitar or a keyboard or a different app, and then it goes into through an audio cable into the ESX1, and then out here, and that goes into your neck. So you're not talking or singing. You're actually just mouthing the words. So when I press the key, see, then you can just hear the buzz.
Does it feel like anything?
Yeah, it's vibrating here.
Yeah, it's just vibrating.
Vibrating as like your vocal cords do.
So that's how your voice works normally. Is your vocal cords are making this buzz, and you're forming words with your mouth and your tongue, and the way you shape your throat, the different resonant sounds, and so it works the same way, basically.
Super cool. So we have your site up here, and one of the cool things about your story for our audience is that you did this really successful Kickstarter around this.
Yes.
I'm really curious about. I was just reading actually this story that Kickstarter did on you, like an interview, I guess, with both of you.
Yeah.
But also just.
Kickstarter has been awesome.
They've been super supportive.
An awesome platform for us because, doing a Kickstarter was really intimidating for us, and we were talking about doing it for
especially
a long
when like
time.
We started with this, and so it's like to go from this to this. We kept saying, "Oh, we're gonna do a Kickstarter, we're gonna do this," but we never felt like
confident.
Yeah, until we got to a certain point, which was like when we got to this prototype, which which you can see on the Kickstarter.
It's 3D
this one. I think this one.
Yeah.
This one is the actual.
Oh, that's the one.
Kickstarter prototype, but this one is pretty similar. But this one has all of the speakers in it and the
and these ones are kind of
audio.
painted.
Yeah, these are painted because it was This was the idea. We were like, one day it's gonna glow.
Right. Yeah, this has the lights in it.
Yeah. So
good.
we were intimidated by the whole thought of doing a Kickstarter. But once we had built a community on Instagram and really honed in
the process of so I guess the mom test. We should talk about the mom test.
Oh yeah, tell us about the mom test. This article too.
So yeah, the mom test is this this book and this idea that, you know, an idea that you have, your mom will automatically give you positive feedback no matter whether it sucks.
Right.
You know.
Your mom wants to be encouraging. Well, at least most good moms.
Hopefully.
Or she's gonna be the opposite. She's gonna be it sucks, even if it's great.
Tough love.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is, for the most part, your mom may not be your
It's
customer.
not your customer. It's not your target audience usually.
Right.
And so we went through this process at first of selling this first prototype
Just to see.
if people would buy it, because you know, you have this idea and I thought it was really cool, but does anybody else really like it? You know,
I hold that then?
Yeah. So
Actually,
it would connect the same way as this one does, but you would hold it just right here, and like kind of similar to electrolarynx, but
And that's kind of genius design. That's like all fit into plumbing fittings, but then it's just like
So that's actually something that was really cool, is that we were kind of embarrassed at first, like this isn't
this PVC pipe.
PVC.
We actually went to Ace Hardware.
Ace Monster Toys.
No, Ace. We went to
both.
Ace Hardware first
Yeah.
to get the PVC
Yeah.
pipe before we even got to Ace Monster Toys to start, you know, laser cutting all of this stuff, and we had to, you know, find some off the shelf parts to fit into here, and you know, hack it all together, and so we put that on when we only had like 500 to 700 followers, and like, see if people will actually just buy this. And we sold like 20 of them in like 24 hours. We're like, oh,
all right,
that's a good sign. So we kept going, and, you know, developing and building our audience more and talking to them, and because we had learned all these things about design thinking, but because he had solved his own problem, you know, in design thinking, you go out and you find this group that you want to service, and then you find out what they need and you build for them. But we had already built for him, so we were like, well, who was his tribe? So we had to start talking to that tribe and building the support for this, and seeing what kind of features they wanted, and so then we just started to develop the design around the features and the feedback that we got from talking to that group.
And that's really cool, because that means that your community really grew with you.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, totally. I think that was a huge part of
the success of the Kickstarter, for sure.
Is they saw us come from this prototype, and we had, you know, excitement around this prototype to this prototype, which is a big jump.
That's huge.
You wanna try it? I think.
Sure.
Yeah.
And so just so everybody who's watching this knows, I am not a musician, so I'm not gonna sound like Bosko. This is to demonstrate that people who are not musicians can use it as well.
So yeah, it still works. I don't have any room left on my neck here.
Do you want to try it?
sure.
Okay. So there's a sweet spot.
Okay.
Okay. So there's a muscle here, and then there's bone here. So there's a cavity that's exactly. And so that's where you want to place it.
Where my doctor always feels swollen. I'm like, oh, I don't know.
And so I don't know if you play an instrument and want to try to play keys.
Let's see.
Okay.
Whoa. Oh, I keep forgetting to talk.
Okay, so
I don't actually make any noise.
Don't make any noise.
Just, you kind of yawn.
So at first, just go like this before you even use it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So you're gonna practice
I'm
saying
doing
wow,
this,
wow,
wah,
wow,
wah.
wow. Yeah, exactly.
And you're gonna push it a little bit harder,
Okay.
and
Maybe it's just finding the sweet spot.
Yeah.
Well, so there's this. You just kind of have to drop your Adam's apple because this is the inside of your. This is the inside of your throat and this is the outside. When you drop your Adam's apple, they touch and that allows the vibrations to go through. But if you don't drop your Adam's apple, then there's the space, so all of the sound stops. Yeah.
Like you're getting ready to yawn.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you
All right. All right.
Try it. Here we go.
Live
this
demos,
is a test.
people.
I get my hands on one of these and like try it. Practice with it.
That's right.
People usually pick it up in like 3 minutes or less. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Kids, for some reason, they pick it up and they just go.
That makes total sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's the journey of So I started out not having. I had a degree, but I didn't have a lot of experience like putting stuff together.
Yeah.
Because everything was all like theoretical, and I did
And CAD maybe.
lots of not CAD when I was in school. Drawing.
Wow.
But so there was lots of math, not so much making. The early part of building these prototypes was all making, and it consisted of me finding off-the-shelf parts, everything from you can see this is PVC, this is laser cut, this is a piece of plastic that was part of an automotive snap that snaps your like holds your door together. Like I would just go to the hardware store and find all of these pieces that I needed to put it together, and after a while I got something that worked really well. This is in terms of figuring out could this be built. I found like an off the shelf. We didn't make this. This is an off the shelf circuit board that I used in some early prototypes, and it was kind of a proof of concept.
So where do you find something like that? Where you just you found something similar and took it apart?
Yes, exactly. You find something that does part of what you need. Like you might have to use 3 different boards to put it together to make it work the way that you want, and then as you learn more about electronics, you figure out that you don't need 3 different boards. You only need 1 board, but it has to have the right parts on it. Right. So that was a process of me learning a lot more about electronics, doing prototyping. One of the this is pretty basic, but one of the challenges we had was figuring out what kind of batteries to use. I learned about developer boards or dev boards. So say there's a particular chip that does battery or voltage regulating. Right. You can get the dev board and then connect it to the batteries and see if it works the way that you want with another chip PCB that you found, and you just kind of are hacking these things together. And then after that, you can go to the stage of making a schematic that has all of these pieces. And I learned how to use Eagle, and then after that, I learned how to route the boards, and then pretty soon.
That is so much to learn from
one
part.
If I knew I had to learn all that, I don't know if I would have.
Sometimes it's good to not have.
Yeah, it's good. Sometimes it's good to be blind. It's like jumping in the pool when it's really cold.
I don't do that. I sneak in like once.
Right.
Yeah.
But once you're in and you start swimming around, and then you start warming up, and then it starts feeling good to you. So that's kind of how this project has been.
Yeah, and so that's like the journey of the electrical, but how you were trying to find your spot here. So with this version, it took us a while to figure out the right angle so that it automatically fits in that spot instead of the person trying to find it.
And it's much more powerful as well.
So this is one of the early tester prototypes of figuring that out, where we were, using this as a
Can you put it on?
No.
What were you calling this again?
Frankenspit.
We call this this is the Frankenspit. All right.
Okay, I did put it on.
Uh-huh.
But
So you got the two adjustable parts there, the sort of headband. It's very much like a pair of headphones, but then you also got the...
Yeah, and so when people see it, they think it's that he just has headphones on.
Yeah.
But this one also has
like
the
mode.
adjustable...
Actually, I have another one I can... So this is the evolution of the Frankenspit.
Wow.
because it has these plugs on the side, but...
we had to do all these different tests to see where the best place was for... the adjustments to be and how the adjustments should work so that it fit in the right place and also for different size necks, because
we had backers on the Kickstarter all the way from 12-inch necks to 22-inch necks.
Yeah.
So like football players?
Yeah.
I don't know. So this one, it doesn't adjust at all, and it's made for his neck. So then when
works perfect for me.
After the Kickstarter, we started asking people like, what's your neck size? And then we're like, oh shit, this might not, this might not work for a 22-inch size neck. So
or
then
12.
So then we had to start to.
And this prototype, this is all 3D printed stuff. So, and obviously we weren't concerned about what it looked like on this. It was all functional.
I think it looks badass.
It does.
Well, it matches your hair, so you're biased.
But it doesn't have that. It doesn't have that futuristic look.
It doesn't have the sleek. Yeah.
But it got the job done in terms of figuring out what we needed to figure out.
What angles we needed.
And then this is another 3D printed, but without the adjustment, without the lights. And then this is the
current version.
The current version, which is it's a multi-jet print, and it pretty much. I mean, it looks very. You can adjust the size there, and you can adjust the size on the sides to
make it easier to get on and off.
And then so now our current version, which is in production, like this one has screws and that it held it together, but the next version has snaps together, and
so where these are painted, this one now has the light.
Yeah.
Is it?
It's really bright in here, but
Now, are those two separate types of transducers, or is that just because?
Yes, these are. That's a little bit of the secret sauce, but yes, these are different. One handles the higher frequencies, and one handles the low, and also one is polyphonic and one is monophonic. So one's better to play melodies and the other is better to play chords, and they work together to give you the best possible sound.
Wow, cool.
And those are things that we discovered. Like, we didn't know any of that stuff when we were at this point, but what we knew is that we needed to make it better. And there are a lot of points in the development where I would just how you tried it and it wasn't working the way that you wanted it to work, maybe. And I was at the same point, and I was like, man, this is a bad idea. I shouldn't have even. But I'd stay up. I'd try different configurations, different signals that go into it, and small changes over time produced a huge change to get from here to here.
Yeah.
Like this is
rapid prototyping.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Rapid prototyping and lots of learning with testing with other people and
you mentioned Ace Monster toys.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
shout out.
Ace Monster. Yes.
Yeah.
Love Ace Monster toys. They had classes when I first started going there. I didn't know how to use a laser cutter, so I learned how to use a laser cutter. Learned how to use a 3D printer. I did know how to use like basic tools and stuff because I used to make like do woodworking with my grandmother. So that came in handy in drilling holes and PVC and all that. But Ace Monster Toys was a great place to get started. And
I'm sorry to cut you off, but side note, you said he has a cool grandmother. His grandmother was actually an engineer and was on the team that invented the microwave.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Legacy of awesome.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
She was amazing. So yeah, and when I say get started, Ace also has all kinds of stuff that are that I don't know how to use yet either. So there's like CNC and all kinds of electronic workstations, and so there's lots of resources there to build all kinds of everything you need, to build something, and people too, which is one of the big advantages of being part of a makerspace for me was learning. I would be working on something, and every time somebody would come, "Oh, what you doing over there?" And I would be honest. Well, I'm trying to figure out how to do this thing. I'm not really sure if this is the best way. And somebody who had more experience than me would say, "Oh, well, did you try this? How about this machine over here? Oh, do you need some help with this?" And
sometimes you would connect with that person specifically, say, "I'm coming over there, can you help me with this thing?" And so it was really helpful, especially in the beginning stages, to get from one point to the next, to have that community there.
Right. I think we tend to think that we're limited to what we can do, but that's not true, because everything is a community effort, that you do. And when people see something that's interesting, and you share it with them, they want to be part of it, and they bring their energy and ideas,
especially when you show up with something like this.
Yes. Yeah. But there have been so many cool projects that people have showed me at Ace Monster Toys, and I felt the same way, like, oh man, that's so cool. I want to, know more about what you're doing. And that's also kind of the spirit of Kickstarter, I think, is to do that online with other people. They see what you're doing, and how can we support and help.
Yeah. So you come from a more sort of company, big corporation
background. Yes.
What's it like? Is this your first startup?
Yes, it is. But we have worked. Well, we've been married for 11 years, and thank you. And we've actually been business partners for like 12 years. And so he convinced me to step out of the corporate and work with him, which I cannot say that was easy. That transition was easy, because when you're working a 9 to 5, your objectives are set out for the day, right? And somebody tells you what they want you to do, where and as an entrepreneur, you have to figure out what that is, right? And the rise and the fall of the company.
Right. At first you're like, oh man, this is cool. I can pick whatever.
My commute is great. I can just go in and work in my pajamas, and then you're like, oh shit, I gotta actually make some sales.
Terrifying. That's why I like working for a company, honestly. I have a little internal motivation. So yes.
But he's never had a 9 to 5. He's always, from junior year of college, he's been an entrepreneur. Before that, but a professional. Since his junior year of college, where I have always had a job.
So I converted her.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like you're doing amazingly.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
No, she's been fantastic in terms of pushing us forward. So
his mind thinks about how do we make things, and my mind thinks about how do we connect with people and make sure that we're making things that they want, and also imparting a message to them that they can use in their daily lives to better their quality of life, and so he's like really super math minded and technical, and I'm really super people oriented, and I study people, and so it's a good mixture.
It's a great mixture, and there's also a lot of learning between both of us. The same way that you have to design a piece of equipment, you have to design a marketing campaign, or design just even a single Instagram post or something,
or even just a user experience. That there's a design that goes into that, so that you're getting the information you need to move forward on the design. And a lot of times I think people make this mistake of building something, and then they use it themselves, and they're like, oh, I need to put this thing on it, and they don't take the time to try to find out what other users might want
Right,
to use it for. And actually, one of the things that I'm hoping happens with the ESX1 is that people use it in ways that I hadn't even imagined. Like, that's what I'm excited to see. Like,
that's super cool.
Yeah.
Is there anyone in particular you'd love to see use it?
Somebody who's doing like live action role. I'd love to see that.
I love that.
Like incorporate that into their costume or something. Yeah.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
What about you?
It's something that I haven't thought of. You know, it's you know, we now that we've heard about live action role playing, okay, maybe we can imagine that. But there's something that we totally didn't think of.
That somebody will use it for. I mean, we've gotten all kinds of crazy comments online, like, "Oh, can I wear this during sex?" I'm like,
don't see why not. Is it waterproof?
Might towards your warranty, but it might be worth it.
Yeah. So speaking of scheduling, you folks are in the middle of a move, and I don't want to take up too much of your time. So is there anything that you'd like to close with? Or?
I'll just add that. So we talked about the hardware development process, but developing the campaign is it's a perfect example of what I was saying, where you have to be really strategic about what is the message that you're sending or giving. Who are your customers? Who are the people who are going to be interested, and what are they interested in?
There's pricing strategies at different times.
How is, like, when you're shooting your video, like we probably did 15 versions of our video
before we were
with us shooting, 3 different production companies shooting, and it's you know, it's just 3 minutes, but what happens in that video is very important. Like, what do you see?
What are you communicating?
Does the person that...
Also, what are you communicating with the graphics on your page? Like, we wanted to have like a Tron type of a feel on our page, and so
definitely kind of got that.
Thank you. So we wanted to, you know, definitely communicate that futuristic vibe. So it's like, what feeling do you want people to walk away with?
So I think it's important to be just as excited about your crowdfunding campaign or your marketing campaign as you are about the product, and to think about it the same way. So like, just
and
like
that he just said came from me.
Yeah,
he was not excited about the marketing. I was like, wait a minute, why are we doing this again? Like, I had to explain it to him several times, but there are things like that.
As like with an engineering mind, you can appreciate it if you think of it that way, as opposed to, oh, I have to do this marketing. I don't want to do this marketing. I just want to build the thing.
Right.
But why is building the hardware so fun, but building the marketing isn't fun if it's the same kind of strategy and thinking and how to optimize and all that kind of stuff? And so I think it's all, you know, exciting.
And you've got these incredible videos that make it look so cool. Like, that's a big part of it. Like,
thank you. Yeah, we had an awesome team that we were able to work with called Godspeed out of they're actually in Canada, and so we did a mix of different video that we had shot, just, you know, when we were in the studio with different celebrities or musicians, along with stuff that they shot, and then they put everything together. So that was like a really important part for us. We actually went through 3 different companies till we found the one that could communicate our vision. So that was a huge part of the success of the campaign, I think.
That's so cool, because I think so many people would like try something like that, and if it doesn't work, they would get discouraged and like, give up, or like after like 2 times, and you just like kept going. Some people, we've been described as relentless. I think that's what it takes. If you're really passionate about it, you have to be relentless. Especially having one person on sort of, you know, each of the sides of that, the sort of hardware and the software, in the business, like both of those could, like if I'm much more a hardware person, so I feel like the business stuff I just give up on much earlier. No,
there's times where we both have to pull each other out of a hole. You know, like, I don't want to do that part, or whatever.
Right.
So
right, but then we just switch and think about how can we be creative in this moment, and figure out how we can overcome this challenge and get to the next level and enjoy the process
and work smart and not hard, and all those good adages.
Yeah, but it's real because whenever we approach things with that mindset, we come up with like awesome solutions. So it's super fun. Yeah. And I don't know, probably got to go in a second, but this is the app. The way
I won't rush you. I can listen.
Yeah. And the way that it's set up is kind of like a guitar. But we also now have, this is first time ever here, a keyboard, piano.
So that we just added that to the app.
Cool.
So, and then to do vibrato, you can go back and forth between those. And of course, these are the white keys and the black keys. You also can shake for vibrato.
Performing and you
Right, it's really cool.
Like a super opera singer.
Yes. And then if you don't want to play the notes, you can just jam and pick a different scale. So this particular scale here is a blues scale, so you can just just freestyle on there. And then you have another way to do vibrato is to use this. So it's like a perfect little synthesizer in your pocket. Pitch bend, and you can transpose and change the tuning to fit any song.
He's excited about that because he just added those features like yesterday.
New features.
Yeah.
Have you made any tracks with it?
No, I have not. I've only played around with it, and our son is we've done stuff at his school with it and things like that.
I bet they love it.
Yeah, they were like trying to get their money together. They were like, "Oh, we can all buy one because I've got at least this much money." It was so cute to see them like trying to figure out how they could buy one.
Yeah.
It's
so futuristic and so cool.
Thank you. Yeah.
Let me see. I gotta do the California love. La 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 la, my Sherry, the more lovely as a summer's day. Yeah.
Sweet. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having us. Yeah.
We'll put the links that we looked at in the description to this video. And have an awesome Friday, a great weekend, and we'll catch you soon.
Yeah.
Cool.
And you can still pre-order on our website, and also the app is available for download on the App Store for iOS.
Pull that up.
Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah. There we go. Talkbox Synth by ElectroSpit.
Nice.
The ESX one.
And
cool. And follow us on Instagram.
Yeah.
If you want to talk to us, we check that kind of regularly. We have a Facebook page, but we're mostly on Instagram, and we talk to our community through DM and through posts there. So feel free to reach out to us.
That is one of the most challenging things I think about doing online stuff, is just keeping in touch with them.
Yeah.
Thank you again.
No, thank you.